I ain't gonna lie.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed. The charges are unclear as of this moment.
Imagine this. Sean Diddy Combs, one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment world, facing accusations that could bring his entire empire crashing down. Could this be another case of a high-profile figure like Jeffrey Epstein using wealth and influence to hide dark secrets? That's exactly what Joe Rogan suggested in a recent episode of his podcast, where he sat down with none other than Elon Musk. The conversation took a wild turn when Rogan began drawing comparisons between Diddy and Epstein, hinting at a deeper, more sinister story behind the headlines. Let's dive into what Rogan had to say and why he believes Diddy's situation might be even more explosive than anyone realizes.
It's kooky and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
It's fun times.
Oh, yeah.
For comedy.
Now, we all know Joe Rogan isn't afraid to speak his mind, especially when it comes to controversial topics. So when the conversation shifted to Diddy's recent legal troubles, Rogan didn't hold back. He went straight for the jugular, comparing the scandal surrounding Diddy to the infamous Epstein case, where hidden connections and secret dealings were at the heart of the story. Rogan's theory, Diddy's rise to power wasn't just about talent and business savvy. It was about knowing the right people, or more specifically, knowing the wrong things about the right people.
It's so weird. It really is like the whole country's hypnotized. And I just think this is a perfect storm of things that are happening all at the same time.
So, according to Rogan, Diddy may have used his connections not only to climb the ladder in Hollywood and the music industry, but also to keep those in power from turning against him. If you're thinking this sounds like something straight out of a conspiracy thriller, you're not alone.
So I would imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's a for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
Rogan didn't mince words when he outlined his theory to Musk. He described Diddy as a gangster who made $1 billion and hinted that the Bad Boy Records founder might have some serious dirt on powerful figures, much like Epstein did. Rogan suggested that Diddy's parties, those infamous, exclusive gatherings that were the stuff of Hollywood legend, weren't just about having a good time. Instead, they might have been strategic events where compromising situations were captured on camera, creating leverage that Diddy could use if he ever needed to protect himself. Think about it. If you have incriminating footage of high-profile guests at your parties, it's a lot harder for them to turn on you when things get tough.
You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there.
Yes.
It's everywhere. My fucking news feed is dominated by it.
Yes.
Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
This idea of leverage is key to Rogan's theory. He believes that Diddy, like Epstein, built his empire not just on talent or hard work, but on the secrets he collected along the way. Rogan even hinted that those who attended Diddy's infamous parties might have known more than they let on. People want to think he's attached to some intelligence agency or something like that, Rogan mused. I think he's a gangster who made $1 billion and knew how to control people by compromising them. It's a bold claim, but Rogan's not the only one who suspects that something more is going on behind the scenes.
I mean, that's what people were saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people are saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they're like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
Elon Musk, sitting across from Rogan, didn't exactly disagree. In fact, he seemed to go along with Rogan's line of thinking, calling the situation insane. Musk pointed out that Diddy's circle of friends and associates must have known what was happening at these gatherings, yet no one spoke up. How could someone operate on such a grand scale, with so many eyes on him, and still avoid serious consequences for so long, according to Rogan? It's all about the power of secrets. By keeping a close-knit circle of influential people who were just as compromised as he was, Diddy may have been able to shield himself from the full brunt of the law. It's a tactic that sounds eerily familiar to those who followed the Epstein case, where powerful connections and hidden favors kept the financier out of prison for years.
90s.
Music business, it's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's the extortion business.
Well, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA? What's like a big theater?
But Rogan didn't stop there. He took things a step further, suggesting that Diddy's days of freedom might be numbered. Just as Epstein's connections couldn't protect him forever, Rogan hinted that Diddy could face a similar fate if those in power decide he's no longer useful. Or worse, if they fear he might start talking. The whole thing is so strange to watch it play out, Rogan said, adding that Diddy's situation feels like an Epstein-type compromise deal. In other words, Rogan thinks that Diddy's empire might be built on a foundation of secrets that could come crumbling down if the wrong people are exposed.
Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw her go upstairs and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are and it's like.
And pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos. Girls. Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have sex with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
And here's where things get even more interesting. Rogan suggested that Diddy might not just be at risk of losing his fortune or his freedom, he could be in danger of losing his life. Drawing a chilling parallel to Epstein's mysterious passing in custody, Rogan hinted that Diddy could face a similar fate if the wrong people feel threatened by what he knows. It's a theory that's sure to raise eyebrows, but considering the pattern of high-profile figures who've met untimely ends after coming under legal scrutiny, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
Best for the people be what's running the thing. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep.
This is where Rogan's theory takes on a new layer of intrigue. He believes that if Diddy's secrets are as explosive as he thinks they are, there could be forces at play that are far more dangerous than just the legal system. According to Rogan, Diddy might be walking a tightrope between protecting himself and keeping those in power from turning against him. If he falls, Rogan suggested, it might not be a simple case of legal justice. It could be something far more sinister. Rogan even hinted that Diddy's fate could already be sealed, with only the timing of his downfall left to be decided. I think he's gonna get taken out, Rogan said ominously, referring to the possibility that Diddy could meet a fate similar to Epstein's, where his passing is made to look like an accident or self-harm, all to protect the real power players behind the scenes.
The rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than...
Musk chimed in again, agreeing that the whole thing feels like a setup. He pointed out that Hollywood is full of people who knew about Diddy's behavior but chose to look the other way. It's insane, Musk said, echoing Rogan's disbelief that someone as high profile as Diddy could operate in such a public way without facing serious consequences. Musk's agreement seemed to give Rogan's theory even more weight, as the two men speculated about the possibility that Diddy's empire is built on secrets too dangerous to reveal. Rogan also touched on the rumors that Diddy might have connections to intelligence agencies, a theory that's been floating around for years. While Rogan didn't fully buy into the idea, he did acknowledge that Diddy's ability to evade justice for so long raises some serious questions. Could Diddy have been protected by powerful forces within the government? It's a tantalizing thought, and one that Rogan clearly finds intriguing. After all, if Diddy really did have ties to intelligence agencies or other powerful institutions, it would explain how he's managed to avoid serious legal trouble despite the mountain of allegations against him.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so.
At the heart of Rogan's theory is the idea that Diddy, like Epstein, is a man who knows too much. And in a world where secrets are often more valuable than cash, that kind of knowledge can be both a blessing and a curse. Rogan suggested that Diddy might have used his position to collect dirt on powerful figures, which in turn allowed him to move through Hollywood and the music industry with relative impunity. But now, with the walls closing in, Rogan hinted that Diddy's secrets could be the very thing that leads to his downfall. It's a theory that's equal parts fascinating and terrifying, and one that Rogan seemed to fully embrace during his conversation with Musk. As the two men continued to speculate about Diddy's future, Rogan made it clear that he believes the entertainment mogul's time is running out. Whether it's the legal system or something more sinister, Rogan suggested that Diddy's empire is on the brink of collapse, and when it falls, the ripple effects could reach far beyond the man at the center of the scandal.
There's people on both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that are involved in this.
This is it,
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be terrifying.
What makes Rogan's theory so compelling is the way it mirrors the Epstein case, where a powerful man used his connections to protect himself, only to meet a mysterious and untimely end. Rogan sees the same potential in Diddy's situation, where those who once benefited from his success might now see him as a liability. If Diddy does indeed have compromising information on powerful people, Rogan suggested, those people might decide it's better to eliminate the threat than to risk exposure. It's a chilling thought, but one that Rogan seemed convinced could play out in real life. The conversation between Rogan and Musk ended with a sense of foreboding, as both men acknowledged that Diddy's future is uncertain at best. Rogan, ever the provocateur, suggested that the entertainment industry is full of people who know far more than they're willing to admit, and that Diddy's downfall could pull back the curtain on some of Hollywood's darkest secrets. For now, though, we're left to wonder, is Diddy really the mastermind behind a web of secrets and lies, or is he just another victim of a system that's finally catching up to him?
That's of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
As the story continues to unfold, one thing is clear. Diddy's empire is under siege, and the public is watching closely to see what happens next. Whether Rogan's theories prove true or not, the parallels between Diddy and Epstein are hard to ignore. Both men rose to incredible heights, only to be brought down by the weight of their own secrets. And if Rogan is right, Diddy's story might be far from over. It might just be beginning. The story of Sean Diddy Combs isn't just about music, parties, and power. It's about how a man, once hailed as a game-changing visionary in the world of hip-hop, climbed to the heights of fame, only to now be facing a serious fall from grace. And while Joe Rogan's theories about Diddy's alleged connections and potential fate are eyebrow-raising, they don't come out of nowhere. Diddy has spent decades crafting an image of untouchable success, but beneath that shiny exterior, there's a darker history, one filled with whispers of violence, manipulation, and a knack for avoiding consequences. Could it be that Diddy's entire career has been built on more than just his talent? Was it his ability to navigate the dangerous waters of Hollywood and the music industry by keeping certain people in his pocket? Let's break it down.
Listen, y'all, I understand that these girls are of age, but this is just disgusting to me. It feels very predatory to me. It feels very older uncle locking lips.
To understand how Diddy got to this point, we have to go back to the beginning of his rise. And what better place to start than the East Coast-West Coast hip-hop rivalry of the 1990s? This was a time when tensions were high, and the stakes were even higher. Diddy, then known as Puffy, was right in the middle of it all. His label, Bad Boy Records, was home to the notorious B.I.G., one of the biggest names in rap, while on the West Coast, Suge Knight's Death Row Records was backing Tupac. It was a feud that turned fatal, with both Biggie and Shakur losing their lives in unsolved shootings. And while Diddy was never directly implicated in either incident, his proximity to the violence and chaos of that time has always raised questions. Some have even speculated that Diddy knew more about the events leading up to these tragedies than he's ever let on. Back then, Diddy was seen as a mogul who could do no wrong. He was the mastermind behind Biggie's success and had a knack for turning everything he touched into gold. But it wasn't just his business acumen that set him apart. It was his ability to navigate the undercurrents of the industry. Rumors swirled that Diddy had a hand in more than just producing hit records. There were whispers that he knew how to manipulate situations to his advantage, using his connections to avoid getting caught up in legal troubles that might have taken down someone else. And that's where the idea of Diddy as an informant starts to come into play.
If you're just joining us here, was just arrested and taken into federal custody in New York tonight. Sources tell TMZ Homeland Security swooped into a Midtown hotel late Monday where Diddy was staying, and they arrested him.
The theory that Diddy has been working with federal authorities has been floating around for years, with some people believing that this is how he's managed to stay on top despite all the scandals that have followed him. Knight, who's currently serving time, even went so far as to claim that Diddy has been an FBI informant for years. During a podcast episode, Suge dropped the bombshell, saying, naturally, Puffy been an FBI informant forever, as they would say. That's why it's different when it comes to him. Coming from Suge, a man who's been in the game long enough to know how things work, this claim has only fueled the fire around Diddy's alleged connections to law enforcement. And Suge wasn't the only one with suspicions. Yeah, known for his own controversial statements, once hinted at Diddy's ties to federal agencies. In a now-deleted episode of the Drink Champs podcast, Ye implied that Diddy had made some sort of deal with authorities, allowing him to stay out of serious trouble despite the mounting allegations against him. According to Ye, Diddy's freedom came at a price, one that might have involved keeping certain people in power happy. The fact that West's comments were scrubbed from the internet almost as quickly as they appeared only adds to the intrigue. What was it about these allegations that made them so dangerous to discuss?
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
If Diddy has indeed been playing both sides, using his influence to protect himself while also feeding information to law enforcement, it would explain why he's been able to dodge so many bullets over the years. From nightclub altercations to accusations of instigating violence, Diddy has always managed to come out the other side relatively unscathed. even when his name was linked to the infamous 1999 shooting at Club New York, where he and then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were present. Diddy walked away without facing any serious consequences. His bodyguard, however, wasn't so lucky. The bodyguard ended up taking the fall, which only added to the rumors that Diddy had a way of making sure the blame never landed on him.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Diddy's ability to evade responsibility might not just be about his connections to law enforcement. It could also be about the way he's navigated the entertainment industry, keeping key players on his side. Throughout his career, Diddy has been known for throwing some of the most exclusive parties in Hollywood, events that were more than just your average get-together. These were carefully curated affairs, attended by the biggest names in the business, and often shrouded in secrecy. And according to some reports, these parties were where the real deals were made.
I mean, everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like, always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight.
It's been rumored that Diddy's parties weren't just about mingling with celebrities. They were about creating leverage. The idea is that Diddy, much like Epstein, used these events to gather compromising information on his guests. Whether it was through hidden cameras or just keeping tabs on who was doing what, Diddy allegedly made sure that no one left his gatherings without owing him something. And if you're someone who's sitting on that kind of information, it's not hard to see how you could keep yourself protected for years. This theory gained even more traction when it was revealed that Diddy's homes were raided by federal agents earlier this year as part of an ongoing investigation. Reports suggest that authorities were looking for footage that could potentially incriminate not just Diddy, but other powerful individuals as well. Joe Rogan himself speculated that the raids weren't really about Diddy. They were about protecting other people who might be caught up in whatever secrets Diddy was holding on to. As Rogan put it, they were like, I need to protect myself. So go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
And that has nothing to do with him having this baby or him having this side girl for almost 15 years.
If this is true, then it's no wonder Diddy has managed to keep himself out of prison for so long. By holding on to information that could bring down other powerful figures, Diddy may have created a safety net for himself. But now, with the federal investigation closing in, that safety net might be starting to unravel. And if Diddy does have dirt on some of the most influential people in Hollywood, politics, or business, it's not hard to imagine that there are those who would go to great lengths to make sure that information never sees the light of day. The question now is whether Diddy's luck is finally running out, with multiple lawsuits piling up against him, including accusations of orchestrating elaborate gatherings where people were forced to participate in compromising situations. Diddy's empire is starting to show cracks. And while he's continued to maintain his innocence, the sheer volume of allegations is beginning to paint a picture that's hard to ignore. One of the most high-profile cases involves his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who filed a lawsuit last year accusing Diddy of years of control and emotional abuse. The lawsuit was settled almost immediately, which raised eyebrows. Why would someone who claims to be innocent settle so quickly? Some believe that Diddy wanted to avoid a lengthy court battle that could have exposed more than just personal details, perhaps even some of the secrets he's allegedly been keeping hidden for years.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
The settlement didn't stop the flood of accusations, though. In fact, it seemed to open the floodgates. More people have come forward, including a former producer who worked closely with Diddy. This producer, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, filed his own lawsuit, claiming that Diddy pressured him into situations that were far from professional. Jones alleged that Diddy required him to record everything, leading to hours of footage that could implicate not just Diddy, but others in his close circle. The details of the case are murky, but what's clear is that people are starting to break their silence. And that's not good news for Diddy.
Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
To corrupting somebody or to...
What happens? Like what happens?
As these cases continue to stack up, Diddy's carefully constructed image is beginning to crumble. His once flawless reputation as a mogul and trendsetter is being overshadowed by the darker side of his empire. The man who once seemed untouchable is now facing a very real threat to both his freedom and his legacy. And if Joe Rogan's theory is correct, Diddy might not just be fighting a legal battle, he could be fighting for his life. Rogan's comparison to Epstein is chilling, especially when you consider how that story ended. Epstein, once one of the most powerful men in the world, was found in his cell under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Rogan seems to believe that Diddy could meet a similar fate if the people he's allegedly kept secrets about decide that he's no longer worth protecting. It's a theory that's hard to shake, especially as more details about Diddy's inner circle and business practices come to light.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
And then there's the question of what happens next. If Diddy's secrets are as explosive as some people believe, we could be on the brink of one of the biggest scandals in entertainment history. It's not just about Diddy anymore. It's about the entire system that allowed him to operate unchecked for so long. The fallout from this could be massive, with ripples that extend far beyond the world of hip-hop or even Hollywood. As we wait to see how this story unfolds, one thing is certain. Diddy's empire is in serious trouble. Whether it's the legal system, the people he's allegedly protected, or a combination of both, the forces that have kept Diddy at the top for so long are starting to turn against him. And if Rogan's comparison to Epstein is any indication, Diddy's downfall could be swift and shocking. But then again, if there's one thing we've learned from Diddy's career, it's that he's a master of survival. He's faced scandals before and emerged stronger on the other side. The question is, will this time be different? Does Diddy have one more trick up his sleeve, or is the game finally over?
Oh, man, I just had like a 3.5 hour cry.
As the lawsuits pile up and the investigations continue, we're left wondering, how much longer can Diddy hold onto his empire? And more importantly, how far will the people around him go to protect their own secrets? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the latest celebrity news. You won't want to miss what happens next in this unfolding drama.